All right, hello everybody. This is Mr. Lincoln, and I am here with you to give you some pointers and tips on this international travel slideshow that you need to put together for your documentation purposes. Uh, we're going to make a little slideshow about being travel agents, basically, and we're going to talk about some of the things that you might need to put on your document, on your PowerPoint to get people excited for international travel. So for starters, let me go ahead and share the screen. Okay, so I got my classwork section, get your international travel, and this one right here, this one to the right-hand side, this is nothing more than just like how the grading is going to go. I'm going to be a little bit nicer this year, and it's like I'm going to forego the whole you have to have everything from the first section before I give you any points in the next section kind of thing. Just go ahead and do the project to the best of your ability. But previously, I would just basically say if you didn't have all 12 slides, well, then you did not get any credit for pictures or animations or anything. But I'm just going to go ahead and forego that this year, so don't worry about it. Just know that this is generally how much the information on each slide is worth. Okay, now the actual presentation, when you click on the presentation, you're going to use this as your base template. So we're going to open a new window, and we're going to download it. And you are going to have one of these PowerPoint presentations. Okay, now you can scoot that over. You don't really need to see the thumbnails in too great detail. All right, so it says come to country name. Let's see. I'm going to pick the country of, what's a good one that no one else has picked so far? America, because you guys can't pick America. Okay, so I'm going to change this color. Right now it's red. Every time you see one of these red, what is country name, that's where you're going to replace the country name with your country name. And just be sure to replace it with black colored text, just like normal. Okay, now we're going to replace this. And travel coordinator. And then it says I need a background picture with a flag or some kind of attraction that that country is famous for. Now, you do not need this text, so go ahead and delete it. It is completely unnecessary. So let's go to our design tab, formatting the background. We're going to need a picture or texture fill. I can go online to search for these pictures. So once again, design tab, format background, picture or texture fill, and then choose online. Now, if you've already got a picture saved or whatever, you can choose file. It's saved to your desktop or whatever. You can choose file and go find it there. If not, search online. Now, once again, you know how this goes. Bing is not great about this kind of stuff. So just deal with it. Okay, we're going to search for an American flag. And of course, something went wrong. So not surprising. Okay, so well, with that kind of issue, we're just going to have to do things differently, aren't we? So I'm going to go to the new tab. We're going to search. We're going to go to images, America. And here's some flags here that we can use. All right. Okay, so that's not. Let's just use this one. So we're going to save this image. American flag. We're going to save it to the downloads. We're going to come back to our international travel slideshow. We're going to go to File. And we're going to go to the Downloads folder. We're going to find the American flag and insert it. All right, now notice that my information, you can kind of see it, but it's like sometimes it gets a little hard to see. So let's take our box, resize it just a shade, And then we're going to use some drawing tools. You can also find it on the Home tab. You can use quick styles. Okay. Give it a background color of your choosing. That's easy to see and nice looking. Okay, same thing for this down here. Squeeze this a little bit. Maybe pull it down below to the next level. Use a quick style on it. Okay. Now, one of the things that you might be wondering about is, hey, what's this gray color not changing for? That is just because of the way that it was initially done. It already had a color on it, so even though you changed the color, it already had a color, so you might have to manually change that color to back to something else. Okay? Now, if you really wanted to get spectacular, do some word art or something like that. But for the purposes of our exercise today, that is not necessary. We're just going to do it this way. Okay. All right, now, next slide says, what is country name? But before we get there, holy smokes, this is plain and boring. Let's give ourselves a design, background color kind of thing. Touristy, travel-y kind of stuff. America. What says America? What background colors that we have here with our various different choices? Say, travel to America. It's fun. It's great. It'll be an exciting time. Let's see. Okay, we need something that's just got a little touch of awesome to it on each of the slides. There we go. Now, looks like. So we got this little bar set here. We could put that in there. We could leave it in there if we want to. But if you don't like it, in the format background, they said hide background graphics. If you click on that, the background graphics go away. Oh, looks like it also changed up. Let's see. Center those bad boys. Align text in the middle. Once again, let's go here with these guys right here. And we're going to say center and align text in the middle. That's better. All right. So everywhere there's a country name, you change it to the thing like that. Now, you might say to yourself, Self, I see a lot of country names on everything. Isn't there a way that I could rapidly change all of these country names to something else? You sure can. You go to your find and replace over here. You say replace, and you say find what? And you put in the word country name, exactly as it's spelled in the red. And then you say replace with whatever the name of your country is. And it will rapidly replace all of them. The only problem that you have now is that you will still have to go through each and every one of them and replace their color. And also occasionally you'll have something like this. Major America attractions. No. Major American attractions. Okay? So sometimes you'll have to change the case, if you will. Okay? Sometimes you'll have to change these a little bit. All right, so what is America? Describe the country. Let's change. You got to change these words. Like these things are basically like, what is it that you need to do in order to like make this PowerPoint the best you can? Okay, and those are required for you them to be there. It's like you can just like change it to whatever it is that you're trying to say. So feel free to change the words as you're putting in what you need to describe. Okay, so instead of describe the country, you could just say a beautiful country filled with gorgeous mountains, deep valleys, broad plains, and mighty rivers. Okay? Now that's kind of like what this says right here. Describe the country's landscape, terrain, features, geography, big cities, etc. Okay? Lots of national parks to visit with exemplary amenities, and lots of things to see and to do. Okay? Many cities to choose from with a variety of cultures and lifestyles. From big metropolitan cities filled with skyscrapers to quaint small towns with lots of charm. Okay. Now, if I have lots of room, I can take my text, because this one is centered. I can take my text and increase the size until it fits up this category right here. Okay. Now, I need another picture. And once again, you know how well this online picture stuff works. So I'm going to go to Google again. I'm going to find another picture. But first, I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it up. Okay, maybe not quite that tall. Okay, and I'm going to look up two pictures. Maybe something like an American city. Okay. Get this city. Paste in there. Paste as a picture. Okay. And look up another picture for a small town. Here's a picture of a small town. That's beautiful. And once again, when you paste, you have to say, you got to click on this control thing, go to paste options, and do a picture. Okay. Now maybe we resize these a little bit so that they can be seen easily. Okay, what about that, what about this national park? Well, here's a great picture of a national park. I'll just paste that in here real quick. Control paste. All right. Now, in order to make this work right, I'm going to do this. And put this picture right here. That'll be my first picture. Now, when I play this PowerPoint, I'm going to do some animations. Okay, first off, I've got to animate the words. So I'm going to have them float in like this. I'm going to make sure they all go in by paragraph. Okay. Now, it doesn't look like everything is exactly working out that way. It looks like everything is on one click. But we can always say after previous on each of the lines, and then they will go doot, doot, and doot. Now this picture right here, we can float that bad boy in as well. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to move it up underneath this line here about beautiful countryside. But I want it to go with previous, so it comes in at the same time as that first line does. So now I've moved the picture in immediately after the first line, and then the other lines come in after that. Now we're also going to animate these to float in. Okay, and they can float with previous and after previous. Okay, so watch how this goes. Beautiful country filled with gorgeous mountains, deep valleys, broad plains, and mighty rivers. Now, this box right here is covering up the mini cities part. Okay, so this mini cities part needs to go on a click. Okay, maybe this lots of national parks thing too. Matter of fact, I can move this picture underneath this national park here. Okay, now if I control these with their own buttons, I have this picture, but it needs to get out of the way so that I can see these words. So I will take this picture and I will add an animation to fade it out to get rid of it. But I need to do that right as soon as I'm starting this next thing here. Start with previous and make sure to start this after it. Watch how this goes. Beautiful country filled with gorgeous mountains, deep valleys, broad plains, and mighty rivers. Lots of national parks to visit with exemplary amenities and lots of things to see and do. Many cities to choose from with a variety of cultures and lifestyles, from big cities filled with skyscrapers to quaint small towns with lots of charm. Notice how all of the pictures came in right about the time I was talking about that kind of thing. Okay, maybe one more picture of some beautiful type scenery. Okay. So that picture's way too big. Okay. So I'm going to have this in here, but I'm just going to have this in there from the start. And I'm going to fade it. I'm going to place that fade at the same time that the national park thing starts happening. Okay, so it's going to fade out one picture, it's going to fade in the other one. Okay, so you're talking about this beautiful country, blah, 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 whatever. Lots of national parks, show a national park. Fade that one out. Many cities to choose from, big cities, small towns. All right. All right, just a second while I help out a student real quick. The old one. Go ahead. All right. Yes, please. So that is a little bit of a big time example how you can really get into this kind of stuff and make some really cool looking slideshows that have a lot of stuff to them and makes a lot of things look really nice, have something to look at, really selling your points. Okay. Let's talk about the next one, Map of America. Once again, we go to Google. Okay, we search a map. It doesn't really matter what kind of map you get. You can get one that's geographical. You can get one that's political and shows all the states and everything like that. You can do whatever you want. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever makes you happy. Just find a good, decent, quality map, preferably. Oh, gosh. This one map that I want to use is totally not working. Of course. That's how these things go. So I'm going to try a different map, and holy smokes, what is this? Why are all these dots on here? There are so many dots. I got to find a non-dotty one. Trying to find a topographical map that's not really okay. So again with this same thing. Fun. All right, I'm not trying to take too long with this though. Let's just get a map going here. Any old map will do. Okay, here we go. Put in the old map. All right, so here's a map of America. Now, this has gone really tiny small for some reason. And also, seems like the numbering system's off a little bit. We'll just make some changes to that. All right. Okay, so the capital city name, Washington, D.C. Now, this arrow that's already existing here, we're going to take that, see the dots that indicate the front part and the back part. We're just going to take those dots and move them around. Maybe change the color of this little arrow with our drawing tools, make something that stands out a little bit more. Not that thin. Much more thick in the weight category. Not just a black one. That's gray. That's even worse. All right. There we go. There's a line that definitely can be seen. Okay, so I've got my line and it's pointing towards my capital city. All right, and now cool facts about Washington, D.C. Okay, you can point those main points is not part of any state. What else can we say about Washington, D.C.? Lots of monuments and memorials. Okay, or memorial statues. Okay. Now, other major cities. Let's see. Los Angeles. And now here's things you can do with this arrow. Copy, paste, you get a new one. Okay. Los Angeles, New York, I see these kind of overlap each other a little bit. Let's put one in between. San Antonio. Or we could move the order. Have New York first. Have Los Angeles next. Have San Antonio be last. Okay. Now, animating this one, similarly interesting. Okay. We can take all of these and we can make them go after previous. And then each one of these arrows, we can also, I like to do wipe with these arrows because it kind of like makes them go. So this arrow should be the New York one. This arrow should be the Los Angeles one. This arrow should be the San Antonio one. And to make them work, I'm going to make them go with previous. Okay, so each one works with this one. Okay, also I need to get this one and put it underneath the Washington, D.C. and say go with previous. Now, unfortunately, each one of these is going the wrong way. It's going up. I need them to go from left to right. So from left. See how that works? And they all go from the left. Whoop, and point out their points. Okay, now watch this. Okay. Ooh, it doesn't work very well, does it? So how that works? That wasn't very good. First off, make everything fly in from the left. Okay. In fact, all of these should fly in from the left. Okay. As should this. Now, our arrows, since obviously starting at the same time is not a good idea, we'll start after previous. Okay. All of our arrows, let's change that to after previous. We'll let the name get there, and then we'll let it go and point in that direction at the same time. So, see how that works? Now it's much better. Washington, D.C. gets there. You see Washington, D.C., and then the arrow directs your eyes to Washington, D.C. New York, Los Angeles, San Antonio. See how that works? Now, the way I did it before met the requirements, but it didn't work well as a presentation. So sometimes you have to do a little bit to finagle how these things go so that you can meet the requirements of the presentation and also have a good slideshow. Now, I don't like this map of America being like this, so I'm going to change it to where it's like that. So you see how sometimes you do have to make little changes here and there to the way that things look, to the way that things are laid out. Okay, where everything is located. Okay, now all you have to do now is you just got to go through each one of the slides from now on. Basically, find out some information, tell us what it is, give us some descriptions. Tell us what it is, give us some descriptions. Okay, the next one, what to eat. Tell us what it is, give us some descriptions. Okay. How much will it cost to get there? First off, list the currency that's used and then get an exchange rate. So one of the things you can do to get that exchange rate, there's like you just look up exchange rate. Okay. Exchange rates to US dollar. Okay, and then you go to all. It's not a picture. Okay, so for example, European nations, England, France, Spain, they're all in the euro. So it's like you type in like $1 American, okay, and that's 0.82 euros. Usually you want to go with like at least one whole number and not for example, rubles. Russian ruble. Okay, you get 1 ruble. How much is that worth? Well, a penny and a half. Okay, is that going to be an exchange rate that everybody understands? No, not really. So go ahead and change the American one to $1, and you can see that you get basically 74 rubles per dollar, or rubles per dollar. Okay, so that would be the exchange rate that you want to list, something that's understandable to people. Okay, so for example, if you want to change out like I said, for the euro, like we did before for the euro. Okay. Let's see who uses the euro. The euro. There we go. All right. So €1. How many American dollars is that? 1.22 American dollars. That's fine. That's a very good one. Don't give me the one where it's like $1 American is equal to 82 cents of euros. No one really understands that one. Okay. The easier one is like when you at least have one of each one. Okay. So €1 is $1.22 American. Okay. Now, what does that mean? That means I've got to give you $1.25 basically, and I get €1. Okay. So if I buy something that's 10 euros, that basically cost me 12 bucks. Or, you know what I mean? That's how exchange rates work. It's really hard to calculate sometimes. I remember when before they had the euro, my ship pulled into Italy, and the Italian exchange rate was ridiculous. It was like on board the ship, they had an exchange service, and I gave them $32.50 American, and they gave me 50,000 Italian lira, and I was like, holy cow! I mean, it was like a lot of money, and but it was all like different sizes and different shapes and different colors, and I was like, this is like Monopoly money. But I had a tremendous amount of money in there, and it was just like, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay, so long story short, you're going to work on that kind of stuff, give the exchange rate, go and like get some travel costs. So like the capital city or the city that's got the touristy stuff. Okay, give me a round trip ticket cost to that place. Find a hotel and get get like a week's stay. Like 7 nights worth of staying in this hotel, or 6. Okay. Money and food. I'm sure that you can find like some travel sites. Bank on about like $50 American worth of food, because you don't have places to cook, right? So you basically have to go out to eat every night. So I'd say like $50 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, for 2 people, that's a pretty decent amount of money. And like put that amount of money together, and then tell me how much that is. Also throw in a little money for like cab rides and stuff like that. You know, some websites will tell you this kind of information. Others, it's like you might have to do a little digging yourself. Okay, passports and visa requirements. You can look that up. The information here: does an American citizen need a passport to visit Russia? Okay. Also, a very important thing is many countries say that you have to have like 6 months of eligibility left on your passport in order to visit their country. Sometimes that happens too. Okay, and like some countries require you to get a special stamp to come visit their country. Like you got to get permission, right? So that's called a visa requirement. All right, so that's it. All of this stuff is basically things that you can like search online and you can figure out, and it won't be too much difficulty. But you got to do some work, okay? So you got a week to do it. Don't blow all your time like searching for pictures and getting all goofy and stuff. Make sure that you're doing the important work first, all right? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.